Take your cleanup brush, dip it in some acetone. Now for all the people who tell me, oh, well, I'm gonna pick it off in the shower. You can do that, but don't come to my class and ask me why your nail polish comes off quickly and why it doesn't last that long. I'll just tell you to look within. The problem is you. Welcome on in, everybody. We are doing Nails 101, where I teach you how to do nails. It's a new semester. Who took this class last year? 64% of you did, and now you've returned. What does that say? My nails are naked, don't look. Okay, I'm not a licensed nail tech. I'm just a hobbyist who loves doing her nails at home. I don't use gel or acrylics or any of that. I use products designed for at-home stuff that do not require you to have a knowledge of a nail tech or expert. I'm calling it regular nail polish, but it's amazing regular nail polish. Here's my nails. Yes, they are yellow. Get it out. Get it out in the chat. Oh my God, they're so yellow. Yeah, they're candy corn, actually. It's intentional. It's for the Halloween season. It's because I'm constantly painting and removing. You see how the nail is like growing out and it's like normal color? That's the natural nail growing out, but the staining is just from repeated nail polish where I'm using a peely base. Using a base coat like that is water-based. It does not necessarily protect against staining. I don't really care about staining because my nails are covered 98% of the time unless I'm doing a class like this. It's fine. Like, it's not like you're unhealthy. Nails, glorious nails. Cuticles, let's talk about cuticles. A lot of people ask me, do I need to care? Do I need to cut it? What is my cuticle? And I would like to dispel a couple myths. Your cuticle is not your skin, okay? Don't cut your finger. This is not Dexter. Please be careful. You don't want to cut open your skin. I'm of the opinion you don't really need this to cut your cuticles at all. You really only need this to cut like a giant ass hangnail. This is a hangnail, not your cuticle. This is okay to trim off. I bless you, as long as you do it carefully and don't do it too deep and like don't stab yourself and make yourself bleed, okay? And then after that, I would oil it. When we say the word cuticle, like most people mean, I don't even know how to pronounce it. The eponychum, like fuck, I don't know, man. Sometimes it looks like this, right? And they kind of flake up. And in some cases, like you literally see it growing up like this, like a tiny little sheath. If you care about your nail polish lasting longer, then this kind of does matter. Because if you paint on that little flake of skin that's growing up your nails, then that's one of the first things that pops off. Because it doesn't allow the nail polish to anchor to it because it's skin. And that attached to the polish that is on your entire nail plate is gonna like lift off. So for me, it's like not really aesthetics. Like literally no one will see this. No one cares, okay? I don't see the need to cut anything personally. Just got here. The live skin is the E word. The cuticle is the dead skin. The cuticle can be removed if there is pain. That is not the cuticle. The safest advice for me to give you is to use a wood orange stick. They call them an orange stick. They're not orange, I don't know. But like a wood stick is the most gentle. Realistically, in my own home, I do just use the metal one. But if you apply too much pressure with a metal, then like, yeah, like you might hurt yourself. There's all different sorts of cuticle remover gels or moisturizer. I've just been using this one for years. Honestly, it's just like in the drugstore. This one says it's 15 seconds. My hands are dry and clean. There's no nail polish on them. Only do this when your nails are naked. And within 15 seconds, it starts to like erode the tiny bits of skin a little bit. Not like anything you can see or feel. And then you would take a wooden orange stick, just pretend it's clean. Oh no, that's like the worst. Make sure you have a clean wood stick. Would just gently push back just a little bit, just do. And I'm gonna switch to the metal because that literally made my finger blue.
Your professor is unprepared. Fire me.
See how there's just a tiny bit of gunk on that one corner? That's a little bit of cuticle, just a tiny bit with the gel. Notice she's being very gentle. She's not applying pressure at all. Yes, thank you for pointing that out. This isn't surgery, Meredith. Then you want to make sure that you wipe off and then wash off cuticle remover because it has ingredients in it that technically I don't think should be on your skin for like that long. Let me go do that. Here's a cat. So now we have clean, nice hands. What are your questions about nail oil? Is cuticle and nail oil the same thing? You don't need two different products. You don't need a nail oil and a cuticle oil. That makes no sense. The ideal oil is something that penetrates your nail plate and like help keep it hydrated and flexible, which is actually like a good thing. You want your nail to be flexible. Oh, I just jammed into this. Oh no, my nail snapped. If it were more flexible, then it actually might save its life. You know, it needs to be like bendy in a good way. Not all oils have the chemical structure to penetrate through your nail plate. The chemical structure like literally can't go inside of it. Okay, do we have any chemists in the chat? Molecular size, right? Like if the molecular size doesn't align, then it's like not gonna penetrate. So you need to have oils that actually make sense to go through your nail plate and not just sit on top of your nail, because that's not gonna do shit. The answer to that is jojoba oil.
Jojoba. 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 Jojoba.
And that's because it has the closest molecular structure to sebum, I believe, which is like naturally produced by the body. Why is everyone saying, Ben, stop? What did he say? Ben, are you interrupting class? I like to use oil from the deep fryer. Well, he also uses dish soap on his face, so that's the tea. Anyways, use nail oil. I don't have one to sell you right now, but you know what I mean, okay? I'm just gonna apply this one. Your cuticle, your nail, just, yeah, give me the good oil. Give it to me. Give me the nail oil. And you want to put it under your nail. Even if you have short nails, it can go under your nail because you can now penetrate under your nail too. Give your nails the opportunity to fully soak into it and do that 2 times a day at minimum. And I think you should start seeing results like immediately because it really hydrates around your cuticle. But in terms of the nail seeing results, you should see that in a couple weeks as it starts to become more durable, more flexible, less prone to breaking, and generally more supple, less peeling. If your nails peel up a lot, then you want to use a really good nail oil because that will help with that as well. And now it's time to dehydrate the nail plate because you don't want oil sitting on top of your nail if you're gonna put on a lacquer, a base coat that needs something to stick to because it's not gonna stick to oil. I recommend just using nail polish remover. The easiest, most accessible way to clean your nail plate. Not recommend using a nail polish remover that has moisturizes or has any additional oils or additives like that because it's not conducive to drying your nail plate. The most effective, not nail dehydrator product that is more accessible to people is just using 100% acetone that doesn't have any moisturizers or anything in it, like $3 at Walmart kind of thing for a giant tub. Not industrial acetone. Warning, I don't mean go to the car shop. Do not go to Home Depot. Buy cosmetic grade acetone. They are processed and made differently, and ultimately you just want to make sure you're using a product that's advertised for the correct use. You have human skin. I don't know if you know this. You have human skin. I just use a Q-tip, keep things simple, keep things easy. Don't spill it. Whatever, just ignore me. I'm such a good teacher. So now I'm basically stripping the oil off. See how it's getting whiter and kind of dryish? You need to remove all the oils and the residue of any oil. Even if you didn't put nail oil on, there's oil on your finger. So you should always be doing this even if you didn't just apply nail oil. Even soaps can leave oil, yes. Soaps, hand creams, yes. We're gonna file our nails now, but I could have filed them first. That doesn't really matter. If your lifestyle is one that you don't want longer nails, you can use a nail clipper. You guys take a seat for a second. For the others who are interested in growing their nails or having their nails be long enough that they can be a certain shape, don't use this to cut your nails, not the nail clipper, because the pressure of this giant metal monster can cause a rupture, like a fissure in the rest of your nail and cause little micro breaks or major breaks and just crack it further than you wanted. If not a nail clipper, how do you file your nails? How do you I just gave you the answer. I recommend glass/crystal nail files. A good glass/crystal nail file will last forever. Glass file seals as it files because the grit is so fine. It almost works better than an emery board because it's like files more at the same time. So you can actually carve off more of your nail in a shorter amount of time than you can with an emery board, like a traditional emery board. A good glass or crystal nail file also has like the ability to kind of seal the nail at the end, which means less little straggly beans And you don't want the stragglers because then your nail can get like caught in it, right? Once you try glass, everything else is ass. That's a great motto, Carmen. Let's go with that. So most people say file just in one direction. She said one direction. Fuck, I'm so scarred from that era. Any nail file will collect nail dusties, and you just rinse it off. So the dusties kind of collect at the end. If I just push that out, do you see the, look. Usually it's kind of like connected to itself, and then you see the little bit collected, and that's what you're gonna seal off. I do this on purpose. So I lift it out, because now I'm gonna take my glass file again, and I'm gonna go from under and seal that off. So now I have a nice, more sealed edge that doesn't have any naggies on it. So if your nails are more curved like mine, it can help to kind of file the sides. If you have short nails, you don't need to do this. I'm just doing the nail that's off the skin, right? Like I'm not freaking going into here and doing surgery. One last pass and it seals off the sides. Okay, do I really need a base coat? We did a survey recently for Holo Royalty where we asked what proportion of people use a base coat all the time or like never. I believe it was like 3% who said they never use a base coat. And so we unsubscribed them from our emails and will forbid them from purchasing. That is a joke. I was still shocked to see the proportion to be that high. I was expecting like, I don't know, less than 1% of Holo Royalty. This is our top customers who buy almost every collection. And 3% of them said they just don't use a base coat. I'm just like, what? Why use a base coat? The number one reason I think is to help keep your nail polish on longer. Some base coats are designed to anchor to the nail plate better. Some of them help prevent staining. Some of them help smooth out the nail plate and reduce ridges. I have eczema really bad. You can kind of see on this nail, a little bit uneven just naturally. If I took off there, you can see the dent in my nail. But something like a smoothing base coat or what they call a ridge filler can really help fill in those gaps so that when you put on nail polish, everything is leveled out. Smoothing base coat also helps with if you're doing like more of a naked nail look. Sometimes you're like, I'm just putting on an opaque creme, baby. Like, just give me something that'll make my nail polish stick better. And I just want a little bit of stain protection. Then you would just use long-lasting base. Or if you're like, I have literally no time, but simply said to use a base coat, so what the fuck? Then use quick dry base coat. But if you have newer nails and they always pop off and you're like, I don't understand why I'm using a base coat, one thing you can do to help is all the things I just said for the past 2 hours. But also, if that's not working, you can gently buff down the top layer of your nail. It's like a buffing block. Basically, it's a much finer, it's not that sandpapery. It shouldn't feel like sandpaper. Don't use the sandpaper ones on your nails. But I wouldn't make this part of your routine. If you do that every week, you are eroding your nail plate down and you will make them thinner. Okay, let's paint. It's been 2 hours, guys. We've spent 2 hours preparing for this moment. Let's use quick dry base. If you apply the base coat on your skin, it's gonna pop off because you're giving it an opportunity to lift it. I always use a cleanup brush, even during the base coat phase, if I need to. And being mindful to not paint it on my skin. I know for some people it's easier said than done. Only go just before you hit the cuticle. And if you go beyond, then you would take your cleanup brush, dip it in some acetone or nail polish remover, and then you would just circle your skin to get it off your skin. Now, for all the people who tell me, oh, well, I'm gonna pick it off in the shower. You can do that, but don't come to my class and ask me why your nail polish comes off quickly and why it doesn't last that long. I'll just tell you to look within, okay? The problem is you. I don't fully understand how to wrap the tip. So wrapping the tip is while you're applying the polish or the base coat or the top coat, you finish off by going like this. It creates like a barrier so that it's less likely to get eroded at the top down. My nails are too short for wrapping the tip. Then you should watch the video, How to Paint Short Nails, Nails 103. Base coats don't need to be like so dry that if you nicked into them, they wouldn't move, but it needs to be touch dry. And generally touch dry is like on average 5 to 10 minutes. Again, humidity matters. If you're painting in Florida, then it's gonna be different for you. Oh, we wanna do a Skittle? Okay, we could do a Skittle. Me waiting for Holo Taco. Me too. So I think I want Xyler on the accent nail. I love doing an accent nail with glitter. I think that's a really fun way to spice up your nails. And then I think that's a good spread actually. Okay, let's go in with Feeling Fiendish. And as I paint, watch me. When you're taking nail polish off the bottle, you don't want to just be like, oh, now I'm ready to paint, and then drip it on your nail. No, very gently go like this, just a little bit, but you want to make sure there's still enough on the brush so that it still looks wet. Because if you go like this, now there's nothing on my brush and I'll just paint on a streak. I'm gonna go towards my cuticle, but not put it into my cuticle. You actually want to leave a little bit of a gap, not that gap. That was one coat of Feeling Fiendish, but what if I do it wrong? Let's do it wrong on purpose. I'm painting. Oh my God. Oh no, what happened? I got it on my skin. Oh shit. Okay, so I'm gonna dip my cleanup brush in acetone. I'm gonna take some paper towel and just get a tiny bit of it off so you don't flood your nail with nail polish remover, and you're gonna brush the polish off now that it's been wet a little bit. Like pretend I got it in my cuticle. That's where you want to go in with precision and trace the nail and just keep wiping until you've cleaned up your mess. Okay, clean up your mess. Go to your room. I just put a bunch of acetone on this, right? If I rinsed it off every time, it would last longer from that perspective, and it would be less likely to get eroded from acetone. And then add a little bit of nail oil or just any oil to make it supple. So again, putting it down, approaching the cuticle, but not going into it. And just being careful and taking your time. Damn, that was all one coat. Damn, I'm just like selling these creams without even realizing it. Let's do Feeling Fiendish on the thumb. Yeah, feeling fiendy. See, my thumb has a larger surface area, so I'm going back a couple times. Legit though, practice makes perfect. Yeah, it does. I'm not perfect, I just practiced a lot. Literally like 7 years of evidence of how much I practiced. Stay grounded, bitches. So you like hollow glitter, but it gets chunky over time. This is very normal for any nail polish. All nail polishes can get thick over time because of air exposure. And as you start to use them up and there's more air space in the bottle, it means there's more room, more surface area for air to literally come into contact with your nail polish. What does nail polish do? It dries when it comes into contact with the air. And I find with glitter polishes, they are generally thicker in texture, and that's in part to accommodate the vehicle of glitter to load onto your nail. Doesn't mean the product is bad. What you can do is use what's called nail polish thinner, which is not acetone, because it was specifically designed to thin out nail polish and not just like eat it. Nail polish thinner will just thin it out and restore it so it feels a little bit smoother. This is Xyler. I've had him for like, I don't know, is he 3 years old, this polish now? See how it's like a little thicker and I have to push it a bit harder to spread it around? It's a little bit gloopier, it's a little bit thicker. Do this, put my brush aside. You would just take a nail polish thinner. Sometimes they come in like clear bottles. It's usually just a clear looking liquid. I prefer ones that have like almost like a needle tip so you can make sure you get it right in the bottle. Most companies are going to tell you 2 to 3 drops at a time, which is the advice I will give if we ever release nail thinner. In my personal experience that is not linked to the sale of any product, I always do way more than that. Do 2 to 3 at a time and monitor, follow the instructions, of course. Literally everyone's like, I always do way more. I know, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Sure, that seems fine. We should do a poll. I'm actually kind of curious, like how many drops do you do? And it's gonna vary depending on how thick you're like assessing your polish. 20 plus 10 to 19. Do you do at a time, at a time, at a time? Yeah. Does it work in Glossy Taco? Yes. Yes. Nail polish thinner. You can absolutely, you should use nail thinner in your quick dry top coat. So you're gonna shake up your glitter once you put in the nail polish thinner, or roll it. Some people will yell at me for saying shake. And you can already start to see that it's falling a little bit more seamlessly. Like as I go like this, see it's like whoosh. It's whooshing a little bit better. It's still thick, but it's smoother, like easier to apply. But you don't wanna make it too thin, because if you make it too thin, then it ends up being runny. And you do not want runny nail polish because then it'll run off your cuticles. Girl, what are you doing? She loves my lecture. Man, she is sleeping in class, but we allow it. She's getting an A regardless. And if you're really wanting to freshen up a nail polish, you could just swap in a new brush if you buy like a brush replacement pack. Benji, we're in class. How many drops of thinner do you do at a time? 42% said 5 to 19. I know that was a big category. 6% said 20 plus. 14% listen to instructions, and 39% have never used nail polish thinner. If any of your nail polish has gotten thick over time, 95% said yes, and that's normal. Now that I've added thinner, I'm getting a more even and smooth application, still respecting the chunkiness of the glitter, you know, to get that coverage. I know people are asking me to recommend a thinner. How about I'll recommend one to you later this year, okay? How was that? Second coat of Xyler. Ugh, why is Ben calling me? What?
Hey, I have a question.
What?
Sometimes when my nail polish gets old, it doesn't get thick, but it starts making a noise. It sounds like this.
No! Ban the man in my house. Please. When the fucking hummus machine goes on, I'm gonna hear it for the next 7 minutes. It's gonna give me a migraine. He calls me and he's like, it's time for your migraine, simply. Okay, where were we? Let's put on a taco. It's glassy taco time. Yeah. My top coat's getting a little bit thick. It's about half full, you know, just 2 to 3 drops, that's it. One of the reasons why it's also good to not put nail polish all the way up to the cuticle is so you can actually make a little bit of room for your top coat to go a little bit further than where your color nail polish is, so that it can really seal it in from corner to corner. And just past the purple, just a tiny bit. Now I did get some on my skin, so I'm just gonna go in with my cleanup brush as always. Just a little bit, it's easy. And you might notice that I apply it like a little bit thick. By thick, I mean like I'm floating it on more. I'm being more generous with how much I put on the brush. I actually went back and dipped in for a second time, but I find a thicker-ish application of Glossy Taco leads to a more even application, like it's just super smooth and I'm not seeing any nail brush lines. Glitter dries down textured, because it's glitter, duh. So you might need 2 coats. Glitter polish is hungry. It's thirsty. It's thirsty for nail thinner and for top coat. It kind of like sinks into the little crevices.
What do you think? What do you think?
What do you think? This is a nice fall mani. Simple. I like it. They look like they're gonna last a long time, except that's a lie because I'm gonna have to take these off like probably tomorrow to swatch. No toppers, I know, I'm fired. Sue me, Feeling Fiendish, Xyler the Cat, Nightshade, Stay Grounded. That's a nice color palette, I like it. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see y'all later. Bye.